26 Jackson Miller on the carry. Get check on a play by
Current.
Scout Flowers. To the 45-yard line. It's third down and 10 for the Indians. From the Chargers, 45.
Kurt, can you set me as host?
Hello, everybody. This is Kurt Roskoff. I am with the World of Ability Podcast Network, and I am here with our friend Patty, and we are putting out a story that is about law enforcement, our legal system, courts, and other professionals, and kind of giving a little insight on what many people may not know when it comes to dealing with things like this. So Patty has gone through a story that many would find it hard to believe, and she is with us right now to share this story and to share how she has a couple goals, which are to show up to a hearing on Wednesday. And with this hearing on Wednesday, her plans are to appeal to the judge, and what we're aiming to do is to see if Patty might be successful, and we'll get an update on this. And this is all to go ahead and see if Patty can get a change to an order. She has been ordered to not attend meetings, and also Patty is under an order and is pretty much forced. She is forced to take medications, and so this is something that has disrupted Patty's life, and Patty is in a place where she's trying to learn her rights and to change the situation so she doesn't have to take these medications anymore, and that she can return to me. So Patty, welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us, setting aside time that the public might hear this. Now, I'm at a prep football game, a high school varsity football game, so I apologize for the background. But we're moving along with this because this is all stuff we're trying to do in a matter of days. And this is all produced for the World of Ability podcast, which happens on Saturdays at 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time, noon Mountain Standard Time, and Pacific Time. So that is what you are witnessing right now. So Patty, do you want to go ahead and kind of take what you heard me say and share with our audience, and for the sake of this recording, to go ahead and give a little bit more of your accounting to what you shared with me earlier, how we got to this and what your goals are for next week? Take it away, Patty.
Thank you. Well, it is unbelievable that the police officers all of a sudden showed up at the house and without any notice. I was listening to music in the morning. In the afternoon, I was being visited by officers handing me a restraining order. That's where it all started. And in the restraining order, there's concern about a few things. And that's where it all started from. And for purposes of the hearing, I'm not sure that I'm going to, Herb, where did you go? There you are. Okay. I'm not sure that I'm going to discuss what's going on with the restraining order itself, except that it was unwarranted. I think that there are other ways that things could have been handled. But then following that, I was met by two teams of crisis workers for some unknown reason, unbeknownst to me as to exactly what was going on with it. And the next thing I know, I'm being brought in by officers into the system, as it were. And I'm still trying to work my way out of the system. So the hearing on Wednesday has to do with getting off the medication, hopefully, and two, will hopefully result to my being able to attend meetings as I used to attend them. So that's what's going on. It is a shame that any of this happened. I was just brought into the system and now I'm having difficulty finding my way out. Are you there?
Yes, Patty, I am here, and thank you for doing that. So I just want to make sure that we are getting in all the commentary you're looking to share at this point. You talked with me earlier where I was responding that, you basically are in a self-advocacy position because this has gotten you to where you are looking out for what this means for people in the future, because you had said that, you're figuring that this should not be how people are treated or brought through this process. And you're thinking that there's got to be a better way. Do you want to describe that a little bit?
There absolutely needs to be a better way than the way things are being handled. When somebody doesn't have a right to speak, when you're forced into the situation, court ordered into the situation, and when you go to speak up, you're put in a safe and secure room for speaking up, something is definitely wrong. They put you in this safe and secure room and you end up getting these injections. And that is definitely wrong, that you can't even speak up and you can't even find out what's going on. It's still a huge part of this it's still not clear to me what happened, why it happened, how it happened. And that shouldn't be.
All right. So, yeah, Patty, you are absolutely correct. It's something that you should have never had to go through. You did go through it. It's something for you to share. Our proposition here is that, if this gets out there far and wide, maybe even going viral, that this might attract many others in the country and the world that maybe have gone through a similar experience. I was talking to you about, if we look through the decades, I was talking about how things were in the 1950s with a lot of institutionalization, and that maybe if this happened back in the 50s, you would right now still be in an institution. You went through, initially you were under, a medical health facility care, and you weren't able to do services for what you do for income and stuff like that. Do you want to describe that a little bit about the difference between what ought to have happened and what happened to you, and help our audience understand a little bit more about how you've got a tough few days ahead of you.
What should have happened was I should have been asked my view and my way of looking at things. I am of sound mind. My heart is in the right place. But instead of that happening, everything was forced on me. And I am I don't mind sharing this. I'm a professional pet sitter. And it really was very painful that in July I was losing service just based on being forced into this situation where I couldn't even make a phone call. You know, they took my cell phone away from me. So I wasn't even at liberty to call out and to discuss this and try to figure out, you know, how to get out of the system early on. Everything was taken on, all communication was shut down to me. In fact, at one point, I didn't even get to see the outside world. I ended up going out with some smokers, and I can't even be around cigarette smoke, and I had to go out with smokers in order to even see the sunshine. None of this should have been happening. So I've lost revenue, I've lost income as a result of all this as well. And it doesn't look good professionally that, you know, I'm not responding to people when I need to be. Are you there?
Yep, I am here. So Patty, you had you know, quite a date, and this is kind of where you're down to days, but to go ahead, if you goals for what couple calls.
I'm sorry, Kurt, I've lost you. I'm not hearing what you're saying.
You're not hearing what I'm saying?
Now I am. For a minute
Okay.
there, I lost you.
So you've gone through a pretty rigorous day today. You've had a lot of effort you put in the afternoon, making 12 to 14 calls. You've had where some of the contacts you can't let their jobs, they can't help you at all. You left some voicemails. Would you want to describe a little bit about what that is all about and what you're up against in 2 more business days to have a fighting chance that you accomplish your goal Wednesday morning?
So I reached out, first of all, I have reached out to local attorneys, about 25 of them, trying to find somebody who could help me out. And either 1, they don't do pro bono work, or 2, this is not their field of expertise. That's 1. And 2, I have reached out today to local coalitions, and some of them I found out were not coalitions. They were more mental health, behavioral health centers who weren't able to help me at all. But the only one that has been any help at all has been just the one that has to do with the legal matters. I'm hoping to be in contact with her. She called me later this afternoon, and hoping to be in contact with her next week. If possibly I can have an advocate that way. I have met 1 attorney. I have personally been in contact with 1 attorney who was able to help, but he was also going to be charging quite a fee, which I can't do. So there's a money aspect to this whole thing as well as a legal aspect of the whole thing. Behavioral health, my mind, behavioral health is not a question. That that is not something that should have ever been brought into this whole situation, but it was. So I have spent the better part of a couple of days trying to straighten out what's been going on with this and getting nowhere. Spinning my wheels.
All right. What? Are available.
I've lost you, Kurt.
2 8-hour per day on Monday, hour day on Tuesday, 2 8-hour 18 hours time.
I can't hear you.
2 hours of office time to accomplish the goal. Days of office hours, that's 16 hours of office hours with potential to help you goal. You want open office.
Okay. I'm just not hearing. I'm hearing every other word, but what I'm hearing you say is, I've got 2 8-hour days, 16 hours total to try to accomplish my goal. I don't know what to do. I am at wit's end in terms of I've spent so much time on the phone trying to find somebody who could assist, and hoping that there's one person out there who can. That's where I'm at. Okay, I'm not hearing you.
All right, so Patty, you reached out to me for help on this matter. You reached me
And so
someday.
I don't know if the interview is over or what. I'm just not hearing.
No, Patty, you reached out to me days ago to get some help on this matter. I got a message from Emily that said you wanted to update me and you wanted me to know what was going on, and
Yeah.
you told her you appreciated what I had been doing in the past month.
Yes.
Do you want to describe that a little bit in terms of where you're at in your life situation? And like, there might be a dozen other people who could be stepping in to do this with you, but the feeling I've gotten is that you kind of feel on your own with this, and you're very nervous, and it's very disturbing to your life, and it's lowering your quality of life.
Yes, everything that you're saying is accurate. Everything that you're saying is definitely accurate. And I reached out to you because I know you to be somebody who works with abilities. Well, the disability channel, but you work with abilities. You work with people's ability to get things accomplished. So what I'm looking for are those people who are interested in helping to set the record straight, to be able to get things done with the goals in terms of getting somehow the system to understand that I don't need to be on these medications, that there is no need for any of what's happened, and to move forward and to be able to get back to where my life should be, which is concentrating on my service. Because the craziness does not have to do with me. It has to do with the way the system has mistreated, mishandled this whole thing, this whole scenario.
All right, Patty. What else would you like to share in terms of, like there's a restraining order out there. There's, other people involved. I don't know that you want to get real specific with, kind of where this is coming from. But I just kind of look at to characterize a little bit of what you're dealing with. Do you want to describe a little bit in terms of, like, you put your effort out there with a lot of people, and you and I were talking about how you're of sound mind, sound body, you're good-hearted. You started a business that involves pampering because you're a loving, caring person. And yet other people in your life have kind of, put a limit on you and basically put a stop on trying to work anything out. As I was talking to you, I was talking about this comes from fear, that, people weren't able to understand you. And they got to a point where instead of trying to understand you further, they just said you need to stay away. And you want to describe having this happen to you?
It is very frustrating. It is very unthoughtful that caring about others would result in anything of this magnitude. That's where it started from. That's where it stems from. And it is something that two mature adults should be able to work out. And it stems from caring and loving others. Is where it stems from.
All right. So another part of what we talked about earlier today before doing this recording and live streaming is that,
So it is very,
it's what we're doing. What was that?
I lost you just then.
All right. So are we back on, or are you feeling like I'm in the conversation
so.
again?
I think
Okay.
I think we're back.
All right, so I'm out here driving country roads in the state of Wisconsin, and this is part of what we're describing is that, people who are sitting in their office at their desk, a judge at their bench, in the convenience of a courtroom, a lot is not understood about the chain reaction to restraining orders, to court orders, to being mandated by a doctor, a psychiatrist to take medication, to, look at a real life as being lived. And someone like Patty goes out and asks for help with someone like me. And so Patty, you were talking about social media. And, so you're trying to figure out what you want to have out there on social media, including this live stream. you're just kind of taking it one step at a time, figuring out what you're comfortable with, and you're trying to keep thinking about it, because you don't need to, have this get to be any worse, because something going out there in the public and then the people involved grabbing it and making your life worse. But do you want to describe this, that in the next 4 days, you're going to be considering what other social media you have going on out there, and kind of what thoughts you have to go through to make that decision? What might you post so that other friends of yours on Facebook and other social media might get a glimpse in other ways what's going on? What do you have to share on that side?
Yeah, it's very confusing. You've got to be real careful, what's printed, because like the rest of it, it can be so easily misinterpreted that, that's not the intent. The intent is to ask questions. The intent is to describe what's going on and see if there are people who might have some knowledge of this area who might be able to assist.
All right. So, Patty, thank you so much for doing this interview, this exclusive episode through Transform You Media Network and through World of Ability Podcast Network in our work with the PAC channel and the Disability channel, and with everybody who has interest in the show and the shows and what we're doing out there on this social mission, social service work, social work, and social ministry. This is quite a ripe and raw story. Patty, you're right in the thick of things with it all. You've gone through a lot of things you wish you didn't have to, but you are far from over this. You have a lot of this heaping pile of mess to sort through, lots to learn through disability advocacy law firm, possibly through an independent living center, possibly through a disability resource center, and on to, kind of catch up to what you've got going on as of today with a dozen to 14 contacts and offices, messages out there, people telling you that there's nothing that they can do already today. You're closing the week kind of in a position to get prayerful, to kind of raise this up to powers that are beyond us, beyond the court system, beyond those that drove you to this point, and to say, what might our Heavenly Creator be bestowing upon you, and what might be your call? So, Patty, from here forward. So, Patty, you've shared quite a bit. Do you feel that the sharing you've done so far has been good enough for today? Or do you feel that there's more that you want to share with the audience at this time? This show is yours. It's exclusive. It's completely custom for what you want to do, Patty. What are you thinking right now? Are you ready to end, or do you want to continue? Do you have more to say?
I would like to see what the audience's reaction to all this is. And as you're mentioning about praying, I've done quite a bit of praying, continue to do quite a bit of praying. It is essential to all of us.
All right, yeah, that is a good call to action, a good opportunity for all of our viewers and listeners, everybody out there on YouTube, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, everybody out there through Transform You Media Network, all of our PAC channel listeners and viewers, everybody out there with the Disability channel. Yes, this is something that we part of a healing process at a macroscopic societal level to really come to grips on what's next for society. We have gotten to the point where we've made a lot of advances in the mental health arena. And I've made the observation that a lot of local interests and national and regional issues, with mental health are being addressed. But it really hasn't distilled itself down to where things like what Patty is going through has changed yet. We're heading there, but it might take 3, 4, 5 more years. So in the meantime, Patty's still going through it the old way and the way we need to heal ourselves out of. So it's healthy to have a lot of public conversation. I propose we do light up the social media channels, and let's really hit this. The largest healthcare crisis known to human beings is social isolation. Now, we didn't come right out and say that this is about Patty being socially isolated, but if you think of the half an hour of sharing that Patty has given you, it does leave her with feeling alone and, self-doubt and wonderment and lots of knowing, what's going to happen in the immediate future for her life. So it's very intimidating and definitely falls into this element that the system is problematic, needs to be fixed, and professionals need to be corrected. The legal litmus test of how we're doing in a courtroom uses the reasonable person's test. So let's light up the comments. Let's get reactions to Patty. My phone number, if people want to do it more privately and with expectations and anonymity or whatever, folks can call and text me at 262-372-1754. An easy way to remember that you've got it correct, at least with the last few numbers, is it's also 262-372-1-SKI. And folks can email me, Kurt, K-U-R-T, at thedisabilitychannel.us, and Google me, Kurt Roskoff, World of Ability Podcast Network, and other ways you find me. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me with the link tree. All sorts of ways to funnel stuff with me and participate in this on my social media with the World of Ability Podcast. And Patty, do you prefer we leave it at that people are contacting Emily and I and the World of Ability team with any reactions and right on social media? Or do you want to add any details for additional ways that they might, contact you more directly? Or do you want it to come through us only?
So I will add my information as well. My email address is Patty's Cat House, capital PATTYS, capital CAT, capital HOUSE @gmail.com. It is in relation to my pet sitting service. And also I can be texted at 321-951-3940. That is in the Phoenix area, by the way. 321-951-3940. Please don't call me with any disturbing calls. I don't need that. If you really are sincere that you really have something that you'd like to say, please, in that case, please contact me, as well as contacting Kurt and Emily. Thank you. And Kurt, we just lost you again.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. I'm just getting some help here doing this while we're navigating our way back to home. So Patty, again, a check-in. Do you feel that this is a good time to end our interview, end our recording, end our live stream for the moment? And or is there anything else you want to have added onto this?
I appreciate you letting me, let people know what's going on. I appreciate the interview very much. And yeah, let's see what kind of reactions we get. Hopefully,
All right.
somebody out there that has experienced something, maybe not exactly, because this is definitely a unique situation, but somebody might have some insight that they might be able to share.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Obviously, this is one of those situations that every little bit helps, and to be able to have some reactions on social media with the emoticons, with the thumbs up or the loving it or insightful or, curious or wow, all of that, and then comments in there, and then consider sharing it out, because if you out there share it, then you're opening it up to your social media reach and might be able to add to the numbers that want to get back and express back to Patty here, love and support, and, maybe getting a prayer circle going out there around the world, and, really doing this for the future of a lot of people potentially, because if this thing anchors into a legislative office and, we get a piece of legislation, maybe even named after Patty, who knows what might come from this, and it might have happened right here at World of Ability First, the World of Ability Podcast, World of Ability Podcast Network. And again, I'm Kurt Roskoff, pleased to have this opportunity to interview you, Patty. I'm taking a guess here that in the week or weeks or month ahead or at some point in time, you might be comfortable to do some sort of an update, or maybe with Emily and I and others with the World of Ability Podcast Network co-hosting teams, that we might be able to update our audience what's happening on this story, and really make this an advocacy opportunity in the realm of mental health. So Patty, what are you thinking? Is this time to say goodbye and we've got her done, or more thoughts?
Yeah, I think we got her done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. So I just need to navigate to stop the recording, and we're going to go ahead, and I think Emily's working on her side.